Back at the ballpark, I'm Kevin McAlpin with 680 The Fan and the Braves Radio Network. Hope everybody out there is having a great weekend. It's a beautiful Sunday here at SunTrust Park as the Braves and the Rockies get set to wrap up their three-game series. Today is April the 28th, and the only reason that I know what the date is because it is my son Max's 4th birthday. So before we revisit last night and talk about today's game, happy birthday, little man. Mommy and Daddy love you very much, and I cannot wait to see you here at the ballpark a little bit later on today. If you see a kid with a number 5 jersey with McAlpin across the back, give him a high five because it is Max's 4th birthday. I asked him what he wanted for his birthday, and he told me Freddie. Well, the customized jersey is about as close as I could get, so can't wait to see him. And of course, happy birthday, Max. We love you, pal. Let's talk about last night for just a moment because I know most of you probably don't want us to talk about last night. But another rough go for the Atlanta bullpen. Braves had a lead in the 9th inning. A.J. Minter was 1 strike away. And as we know, watching the Atlanta relievers this season, that final strike has been awfully tough to come by. A couple of 2-out walks. And then, of course, Charlie Blackmon put the Rockies ahead for good with that 2-run double off Minter. Trevor Story followed with about a 500-foot home run into the Hank Aaron Terrace in left field against Dan Winkler, a guy he is certainly very familiar with. Winkler and Story came up through the minor league system with the Rockies together. And talking to Winkler after the game last night, he said he's played thousands of pitches behind me, so I'm sure he had an idea of what was coming. He had thought the idea of a curveball in that spot was good. The location and the execution of the pitch were not good. It was a belt-high curveball that hung, and of course Trevor Story hit it to the moon last night. So a tough night for the Braves bullpen, for especially A.J. Minter and for Dan Winkler. Let's give credit where it's due, though, as we saw another strong performance from Luke Jackson. Good to see him continue to go out there, throw strikes, and he has now tossed 12 1/3 scoreless innings. That is the second longest active streak in the National League, second only to Zach Greinke, who's a little over 15 consecutive scoreless innings. Raise your hand if you saw that coming after the grand slam that he gave up to Rhys Hoskins in Philly on opening day. I'll wait, because I'm sure none of you did, but kudos to Luke Jackson. He has been the lone bright spot in the Atlanta bullpen here since opening day, and hopefully they can find 3 or 4 or 5 more guys that can be as consistent as Luke Jackson if they want to hang around and continue to stay in the thick of things in the National League East. The Braves bullpen is going to have to step up. Now, whether that comes internally or whether Alex Anthopoulos starts really working the phones now, that's to be determined, but I do think the Braves need some serious help in that bullpen. That's not breaking any news, I'm sure, to say the least. That being said, the Atlanta bullpen doesn't deserve all the blame. The Braves offense over their last 4 games, 6 for 50 with runners in scoring position. They're getting guys on, they're just not getting that big base hit when they need it. So hopefully that's a trend that will not continue here today as the Braves and Rockies wrap up this 3-game series. Colorado has won 8 games in a row here in Atlanta. Of course, the Braves played really well against them at Coors Field a couple of weeks ago in that series that was shortened by the snow out in the series finale. But for some reason, the Rockies have really feasted here at SunTrust Park. And of course, getting guys like Murphy and Dahl back in the lineup, you know what Story and Arenado can do in the middle. And Charlie Blackmon certainly swinging a hot bat. And of course, Blackmon, the product of Georgia Tech, you know he loves playing here in Atlanta. So Kevin Gossman, the Centennial Colorado native, he was excited to face these guys for the very first time in Denver. That did not happen with the snow out. He gets his opportunity here today, and he knows he's going to have his work cut out for me. He told me as much yesterday, but he said he knows a lot of folks back in Colorado will be watching this one very, very closely here today. So the Braves and the Rockies, the finale of this 3-game set before the Padres come to town for 4 starting tomorrow. Again, it is a 1:20 first pitch here at SunTrust Park. Braves and Rockies. Rockies are countering with Tyler Anderson, the left-hander, 0-2 with a 12 ERA here to start the season. He has been terribly inconsistent, to say the least. So hopefully the Atlanta offense can run out there, put some runs up on the board early on, give Kevin Gossman some early wiggle room, and give Max McAlpin a little something to celebrate here on his 4th birthday. So if you can't be at the ballpark here today, and why wouldn't you? It's 75 and sunny, 80 degrees at first pitch. Beautiful day here in Atlanta. But if you can't get to the ballpark, Ben Ingram, Joe Simpson, they've got you covered on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. 1:20 with the first pitch, and hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed. We've got some better things to talk about on the postgame show a little bit later on today. So hopefully you'll join us for all the coverage. Braves and Rockies finale of their 3-game set today here at SunTrust Park. 1:20 p.m. Eastern is your first pitch.